Oh, cute. I alternated between emailing my parents and checking adorable bunny videos on my laptop. The shift had finished and people were dispersed around the museum as usual. Hendrik and DeAndre piled the trays to return to the storage closet for another day. While they did, I could hear them chit-chatting in French. I logged off and stretched one arm. I casually twirled the chair around to face the others. DeAndre noticed while Hendrik disappeared down the hall momentarily.
All up to date?
Yeah, fired off a quick response to my folks. They appreciate all of the pictures, but Dad's disappointed I haven't dug up a dinosaur yet.
I think that's a completely different field.
Oh, DeAndre. Jai Kelka. Ah, sorry. I was going to mention, before I forget again, that we received drawings and thank you letters from the elementary school.
Aw, really? How sweet of them.
Very. They wrote down their favorite events during the whole tour. Can you guess what got mentioned the most? Here.
Grabbing a stack of papers, Hendrik spread them out like a deck of cards and tapped one of the drawings. DeAndre and I rifled through them, while Hendrik translated some of the sentences. One paper caught my eye. It showed a crude humanoid shape with fangs, outstretched arms, and yellow lines all over the face.
Oh, come on, I'm not that hairy. Got the goatee all wrong, too.
Despite the complaints, DeAndre chuckled and stroked his chin. I don't know, I think this is a pretty accurate Neanderthal. DeAndre rolled his eyes. Hendrik gave a tiny shrug.
I wish I was the one who came up with that.
While they chatted, one picture caught my eye. Ah, someone even drew Kyler? At least I think this is Kyler. I tapped the drawing with the green and purple stick figure.
Ah, yes. Kyler seemed to have enjoyed himself, and he helped the kids a great deal.
Kyler's actually a decent guy when he doesn't act like there's a stalactite stuck up his arse.
DeAndre, language.
Oh, sorry, stalagmite. Since stalagmites rise from the floor, they'd make more sense than a stalactite.
DeAndre chuckled at his own display of knowledge, and Hendrik let it slide as he collected the papers.
Anyway, thanks for helping me, DeAndre.
Later, Hendrik. Mel.
DeAndre left and Hendrik returned the class letters to the corner of the table. Noticing me lingering, Hendrik glanced up.
Need something?
Oh, I was wondering where Kyler was since we mentioned him. He's usually upstairs reading or in his tent, but I haven't seen him.
I think he's still in the cave.
What? But isn't it all locked up and stuff?
At this time, yes. However, Augustin made an exception. Kyler is currently scouting the cave's interior, since we plan to put up some displays for visitors during the festival next week.
Festival?
An open event that anyone can join. There'll be more details next Monday, since we'll be needing everyone's help on this one.
Sounds fun. You're giving Kyler more responsibilities lately. Or has he done this before?
Well, since he helped during the tour, he's proved himself capable outside of the excavation and lab activities. I thought it wouldn't hurt.
I'm glad things are sorted out between you two.
Same here. Not sure why this year is different from the previous ones, but I'm grateful we're on friendlier terms.
Oh. Should I ask what happened between them? I mean, this is the only time we've had the option to do it, so let's do it. And let's have some music change for the appropriateness of the situation we are in now. Why didn't you two get along in the first place?
It's really not an interesting story. Kyler is the type to nurse minor grievances.
I don't mind. I've got time.
Well, 4 excavations ago, Kyler picked here as an elective. It was a tense year for me, since I started working for my uncle, and it was more of a trial period. I had no idea if I'd be hired permanently after summer ended. Anyway, I showed Kyler the ropes and went over the photograph with him. I explained the stratigraphy and that his square had a badger burrow. He seemed genuinely interested about the whole thing. He asked a lot of questions about the dates, what you'll likely find, etc. Once we finished, I assisted other students with their squares, while Augustin checked their photographs for approval or critique. I happened to be nearby when Augustin reviewed Kyler's photograph, and...
And? Wouldn't it have been approved in a heartbeat? You did go over things thoroughly with Kyler.
That was the problem. When Kyler pointed out the burrow, my uncle got upset. He thought Kyler overstepped his boundaries by jumping to conclusions without prior knowledge. He wasn't an archaeology student at the time, after all. So Kyler got this earful in front of the other students. Kyler saw me, and I could tell he hoped I would step in, but I didn't. If I did, it would have made it worse. My uncle hates being told that he's wrong in the middle of a lecture, and I didn't want to jeopardize my chance to work here either. I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. It would have been messy if I intervened, and make the excavation even less enjoyable for Kyler. Basically, the poor kid got scolded for no reason.
Did you explain everything to Kyler afterwards?
I tried, but he refused to let me talk to him. I sometimes wonder if I could have handled it better. I felt awful not getting involved.
I wouldn't know what to do in that situation either. I guess you rationalized that Kyler wouldn't come back anyway, since he wasn't even an archaeology student.
Yes, I was surprised to see that he did come back. Anyway, that's the story. After the incident, Kyler learned that my uncle and I didn't always agree on how things should be done, so he only follows Augustin's instructions. It avoids further misunderstandings, at any rate.
Did you ever clarify the whole thing to Augustin later? You know, once you got the job?
It didn't matter by then. I don't think my uncle remembers lecturing Kyler. To him, it's simply another day in the cave, yelling at those darn whippersnappers who don't appreciate stratigraphy enough. It's an entirely different memory to the students, though.
Oh yeah. Still, a 4-year grudge from something like that?
It's not really 4 years. More like months, since I only see him annually. Kyler probably forgets about it, then the memory rushes back when he sees me and goes, ugh, him again. Repeat cycle.
At least the cycle's broken now.
Amen. Did I make our rocky history all crystal clear now?
Yes, thanks for that.
It was no problem. Anyway, I need to finish off a few things. We can talk later if you have any other questions.
Sure. Aww, so sweet. We've heard it from Hendrik's point of view this time. These grudges, though, getting in the way of friendships and whatnot. I think that was the day we would have helped Shoji draw, too, but we didn't get that, I guess, because we were too busy asking questions? I think. Unless that's this week sometime. Okay, let's see. Lab, yes. Still haven't been yelled at for not volunteering, so I'm still gonna ignore all of it. Lab. This is a lab day. Another lab day. Another lab day. Man, I really have neglected Kyler this time. But we still got a little bit of a heart with him. But he's still an aloof square to us, as far as we're concerned. Anyway, let's continue with week 7. Alright, off to a good start. Oh. Hendrik's side glance kills me when I fail. It's like, what do I do with this girl? She's just not rational enough. Except for when I work by myself. Goodness gracious, Mel. Mel! Why do you get so nervous around this boy?
And this was done entirely in colored pencil? You're really skilled at this.
Yeah, we did. We skipped that whole event with Shoji. Hendrik looked over the finished cutout laid on the table. Shoji had recently put the finishing touches on it and declared it complete.
Thank you. I kept it on the minimalistic side, but it should work for tomorrow.
Not bad! Not bad at all! Hey, since you're great at artsy stuff, would you be up for overseeing the face painting station tomorrow?
Face painting?
Or would it be too different from what you're used to?
No, I've used paints before.
Shoji flashed me a save me expression and I stepped in. It's something to think about at least, Shoji. I don't think she's expecting an answer right away. Rosemarie faltered slightly, and I knew she was the type who liked snap decisions. However, she turned to Hendrik, who nodded respectfully.
It's no problem. The chores won't be officially assigned until tomorrow morning anyway.
Hendrik thanked Shoji once again, and the two of us went outside.
Should I, or...
The face painting? I think you can do it.
Think so?
It's all one-on-one, and I'm sure it'll mostly be kids wanting a flower or a butterfly on their cheek. Just ask a question like who their favorite superhero is, and they'll go on while you focus on the face painting.
I see. Like, what's your favorite market?
Oh, I love the cake-shaped one. I keep forgetting its real name because I always call it Bunt. I stopped when I realized it wasn't a real question, and he laughed.
Since you put it that way, I'll definitely consider it.
Before we could discuss it further, his cell phone rang. I grinned, recognizing the video game theme. Muttering a quick apology, Shoji walked a few paces away, then pulled out his phone. He glanced at the phone display quizzically and hit the receive button.
Hello? Oui, c'est Shoji. Quoi? Ma mère est à l'hospital?
I froze at the word hospital, and Shoji's voice lowered to a frightened whisper. I knew it was impolite to eavesdrop, but I didn't want to leave with upsetting news being delivered. I worriedly took a step forward, waiting until Shoji hung up. When the call ended, Shoji turned around looking pallid. Shoji, what was that about? You mentioned the hospital. He took a deep breath, struggling to ease his nerves and remain calm.
One of the employees found my mom unconscious at the bottom of the stairs. He called an ambulance right away and isn't sure how severe it is, but...
We don't know the details. Let's get you to the hospital first. When does the train arrive? Shoji frantically punched numbers into his phone.
I'll have to take a taxi.
This town was tiny, and I doubted a taxi would arrive quickly. Wait, let's see if we can get someone to drive you.
But...
Something going on?
DeAndre glanced at Shoji, concern reflected on his face. Kyler was not far behind. Shoji's mother is in the hospital.
What? Is she okay?
Although DeAndre's consideration was genuine, Shoji had a hard time coping with the crowd and struggled to speak. Kyler pulled on DeAndre's arm.
He needs space.
Kyler finished the sentence in French, and DeAndre glared momentarily before nodding in understanding.
We'll inform Hendrik and Dupont.
He trembled violently, and I had no idea what to say to help calm him down.
It's my fault. I shouldn't have returned here. It's because I'm not tending to the store that...
It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. I heard someone approaching and turned to see Hendrik, who was already holding a set of keys.
I heard what happened. Shoji, do you want me to drive you to the hospital?
It's all the way in Liege. I can't impose.
This is a family emergency, and a taxi or train will take too long. Don't think of this as a burden. It's important to be with family.
Hendrik, thank you.
You can thank me once I drop you off. Let's go.
Hang in there. I'm sure she's all right.
I hope so too.
Once Hendrik's truck pulled out of the driveway, Kyler and DeAndre approached me.
What happened exactly?
I summarized what little I knew, and the two exchanged solemn looks.
Bummer. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Depends on the fall. If she was unconscious, a concussion will be likely. I've seen enough of those. It might be bad then.
I don't want to think of worst-case scenarios already.
Melissa's right. It's too early to speculate when we don't have enough information. Yeah, at least he'll be able to know what's going on thanks to Hendrik. Do any of us have Shoji's number? I have Shoji's email. I'll message him tonight.
Sounds good. Please let me know if he responds. It wasn't until dinner time that Hendrik returned. I rushed over to him and he gave me a reassuring smile. Is everything okay?
I just dropped Shoji off at the hospital. I gave him my number in case he needs me to pick him up.
Yeah, it's understandable. Thanks, Hendrik, for jumping in like that.
I couldn't let him wait around for the train or a taxi. It was the least I could do. Now go eat. It won't do anyone any good if you don't take care of yourself as well.
Dinner was a blur, although I explained the situation to Chantal and Joan when they asked about Shoji's absence. When it was over, I passed the time playing a video game in my tent.
Melissa, are you in there?
I'm here. I hastily opened the flap and eagerly looked up at Kyler. Is his mom okay?
Yes, she's fine. She hurt her heel badly and has a minor concussion, but she'll make a full recovery. Shoji will return late, but he'll be here for the festival.
Not staying the night or anything?
I think he wanted to, but his mom can be persuasive from what it sounds like. It's his first time being away from home this long, so she feels it's good for him.
Sounds like those two are complete opposites. Thanks for telling me. I'm glad it wasn't serious. He nodded. After he departed, I sank back into my bed, glad my worries were put to rest. We didn't stay up for Shoji this time, but oh well. I held back a yawn, rocking on my heels. It was early morning and all the students gathered around Augustin, who was briefing them on the duties. One by one, the students nodded or asked questions. When the instructions finished, everyone scurried off to their assignments. Kyler was kind enough to summarize the speech for me.
And then there's a group that'll need to organize the utensils.
Got it. I'll see what I can do to help out. I've never attended an archaeology-themed festival before. I quickly glanced to the side to give my cue. Let's have fun and let's make party!
Aw. Let's make party! What did Melissa bribe you with? She owes me a beer.
I did it because she asked nicely.
She's taking advantage of your good nature, mate. You have to stand firm around pushy people like her.
I gave him a shove. I'm not pushy.
See what I mean?
Ah, the long hair is out again.
What are we all loitering here for? Did we forget our duties?
Not me. I'll be helping with the food preparations. I was translating the lecture for Melissa. I'll leave for the cave now.
Oh, I was going to ask where all of the supplies for the face painting are.
That's why I am here. They're in the lab and ready for you.
And what will you be doing, Hendrik?
Once I finish labeling all of the rocks in the display I created upstairs, I'll be overseeing things. And yourself?
Me? I'll see how this goes. Tag along with you, Hendrik. I'd like to help you out, Hendrik, if it's not too much trouble.
Of course not. I'll meet you upstairs.
Oh my goodness. While Hendrik led Shoji to the face paint supplies, I trooped up to the second floor and surveyed the layout. All of the folding tables were set up, with trays containing various rocks placed in neat fashion. I noticed a rectangular stack of little index cards. The very top had printed words in a list. Gray, sandstone, sandstone. Curious, I picked it up and glanced at the paper underneath, which read calcaire, kalkstone, limestone. I guessed I had to match the labels to the corresponding stones.
Sorry for the wait. We can get started now. Ah, looks like you already did.
I split the cards in half and we placed the labels next to the exhibited rocks. Many I was already familiar with. Slate, quartz, conglomerate. I paused at dolomite and hesitantly waved the paper between some of the unnamed rocks.
It's the whitish one to your right.
Thanks. Between the two of us, we finished in record time. I grinned at our fully prepared exhibit. That was a cakewalk.
Cakewalk?
He repeated the unfamiliar phrase.
Is that an American term?
It means it was a super easy task. It originated from a dance called the cakewalk. Oh, I had no idea it was actually a dance. I've heard that expression, but I didn't know it was an actual dance. I pantomimed holding an umbrella and did a few practice struts, finishing with a flourished turn. Yes, there was cake involved.
I knew it. I know I'd be more inclined to take an Intro to Waltzes course if it included cake.
Waltzing is for squares. You'd probably love the modern cakewalks. I only demonstrated one version. There's a more open and simpler carnival type. It's basically a cross between raffle tickets and musical chairs. You buy a ticket, then go around a circle of squares with numbers on them. When the music stops, the MC announces a number, and if it matches the one you're standing on, you get a cake. The best part is that there are usually multiple cakes, so there's always a good chance of winning something. Sorry, didn't mean to prattle.
You've been subjected to my little spiels before, so you can consider us even.
Really? One spiel and we're even? I don't think so, man. It's rare that I get to talk about dance in general. Most of the discussions is at my local Lindy Hop community or when I travel to competitions.
Travel? Even out of California?
For dancing? No, it's always been within my state.
Have you visited other parts of the States?
I've been to Arizona and Texas to see extended family. I haven't seen the North or East Coast. Why, thinking of visiting someday?
Perhaps. I've always wanted to go. I've already traveled across Europe and visited Africa. I'd love to fly to New York, or maybe see the Grand Canyon. It'd probably be a road trip since there's much I'd want to see.
Hendrik, are you up there?
Yes, need something?
I was going to ask if you set up the atlatl station already.
Me? I thought that'd be your department, Rose.
My job is to make sure everyone is doing their jobs. Ciao. Ciao. Rosemarie vanished before Hendrik could question her duties further. He shook his head before turning to me.
You remember the area with the haystack, right? Where we first practiced? I'll be officially setting it up this time with a target and everything. You can join me if you like.
I would love to. Sure. I'm even up for a round 2 if we have time. Game face. After we gathered the items we needed for the station, we went outside. Hendrik propped up the wooden humanoid cutout against a tree by the museum. It was painted black with circular bullseye targets radiating out from the chest area, with each section numbered with points. I held the atlatl and absent-mindedly poked at the ground with it like a staff. Now what?
Time to test out the atlatl before we take it to the forest clearing. Sometimes Rosemarie has to readjust the weight attached to it if it feels off balance. Here, can you hold my hand?
Huh? The question threw me off guard. Hendrik nonchalantly screwed off the wrist joint, revealing the hooks underneath. Oh, that's what he meant. Oh, gosh. Okay, moving swiftly on. Of course. I accepted the prosthetic hand. I hope this isn't as close as we're gonna get to holding hands with him, because that'd be pathetic. My cheeks felt hot, and I was relieved that Hendrik didn't notice my embarrassment during the exchange. He took a few steps forward and positioned himself away from the target. I watched Hendrik as he settled the spear into the dented end of the atlatl and hoisted it horizontally over his shoulder. It was like watching a baseball pitch, save for the downward wrist flick midway through the throw. The spear launched and dug deep into the target close to the bullseye, and I applauded at his achievement. Nice one! Do you practice often?
Mostly over the winter. It's how the archaeology team assigns chores. My uncle is the reigning champion, though. I don't think I've seen him do the dishes once since I started working here. Your turn.
He approached and presented the weapon, and I remembered I was still holding on to something. Ah, here.
Danka.
I think it's... Danka? I've never seen that actually spelled out before. Or Danke, I don't know. It's no problem. I'd be happy to hold your hand anytime. Oh my goodness, the awkwardness in this is like killing me. He froze midway through covering the hooks, his fingers lingering on the artificial wrist joint. Anyway, my turn. Let's see if I can do better than last time. I got into position, trying to grasp both atlatl and spear in one hand. My mind was still preoccupied with the awkward sentence I uttered.
Move your left foot forward a bit and lean back.
Like this?
Much better. Let's fix that grip, too.
He reached out, then paused, not wanting to become invasive.
You mind?
Go ahead, I'm better with visual instruction. Alright. This is what Chantel was hoping for, but I'm getting it this time. Yes. He maneuvered until he was beside me, his left hand reaching over my shoulder. Delicately, he manipulated my fingers and steered my elbow slightly.
You only need your index and thumb to pinch the spear close. After all, you'll have to let it go.
Should I keep it ear level, or... I looked up and our eyes met. His face was closed, and I was increasingly aware of how his hand was still in contact with mine. Hendrik hastily stepped back. No!
Sorry, didn't mean to get in your face like that.
It's okay. I mumbled out my response and channeled all of my nervousness into my throw. The spear harmlessly sailed into the ground a few feet before the target, emitting a chuckle from Hendrik.
The launch was a little shaky. It takes a few tries before you get comfortable with the starting position. I'll take the equipment over now. I know they'll need extra hands setting the tables.
Right. I scurried away while Hendrik briskly walked over to the forgotten spear. When I reached the stacked chairs, I glanced over my shoulder. Hendrik stared at the atlatl before gripping it tightly. I hope I didn't make things awkward between us now. Focus! Focus! I should keep myself busy until the festival starts. Don't have time for the romance and whatnot and what have you. Festival time. Where should I go? I guess I should... Museum? Yes? Yes, okay. Inside, I could see individuals and small groups wandering through the tiny museum. Many stopped to stare at the Neanderthal remains before concluding their tour. Upstairs, I heard voices and a few giggling children. I wonder who could be up there. Curious, I headed to the second floor, greeted by people examining rocks. The majority clustered around the obviously shiny and glittery ones. Well, if it made geology more accessible to people, and shiny things never hurt. Hendrik was explaining something to a few visitors. When he finished, he politely excused himself and greeted me cheerfully.
Phew. You're back. I added more to the collection after you left, so feel free to look around.
Nice. Where did the extra trays come from?
I had a few spares in the truck. I mean, you never know when you'll need an amphibolite on short notice.
Let me get this straight. Every single piece here is something you collected?
Nearly all of it. Some were presents from colleagues who went on faraway excursions, but most I've obtained myself.
He directed me to one of the trays.
Like right here, this talc is from Morocco, along with the selenite.
What were you doing in Morocco?
Surveying for oil shale deposits, energy company job. Money's good, but in the end I prefer the archaeological side. And this halite over here.
For every rock Hendrik identified, there was a story or location tied to it. Whenever he finished, he would grin at me with such excitement and passion that I couldn't help but ask another question. When I noticed a few people waiting nearby, looking like they had burning questions, I eased myself out of the conversation. I guess I took up more of his time than I thought. It was just so enjoyable. The rest of the day whizzed by due to the constant hustle and bustle. While the guests were leaving, I trooped upstairs wondering if Hendrik would need help putting all the trays away. I paused when I saw him chatting with someone. Rosemarie stood by the stairs watching the two intently. I curiously approached her first. Do you know her? No, it's not that. It's just that she's obviously flirting with him and he's oblivious to the whole thing. Phew, thank goodness for that. Maybe it's because they're talking about rocks right now? Nah, he's like this all the time. I can't tell if it's a Hendrik thing or an Ace Geologist thing? Right, I guess it is that rock talk after all. Ace? Thankfully, she mistook my say for an innocent guess. It was probably for the better since I could tell she didn't mean to slip out that information. After an awkward laugh, she addressed Hendrik, then casually joined in their conversation. Well, it was more like Hendrik being the translator, and it sounded like they had to close the museum soon. I can't... Oh my god, I get it now. Oh no! No! Wait. So when we met Rose, and she said hi to Hendrik and said, "Oh no, don't you pun me, Mr. Ace Geologist," she was punning him? Oh, Rose has a whole other level of pundom. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. Ace Geologist was a pun the whole time. No, I can believe it. Rose, I can't believe you punned. Oh my god. What even is happening anymore? My brain is melting. Ugh. Once everything was tidy upstairs, Hendrik asked if I wanted to help take down the extra lights and decorations in the cave. Together with Rosemarie and Kyler, we successfully stockpiled the cutouts and wrapped up the strung lights. Is that everything?
Seems so. Thanks for helping out. Switching the lights off now.
I watched Hendrik as he flicked off multiple switches in the wet screen room, causing the cave to grow dimmer and dimmer until it was completely black. Can you imagine being a Neanderthal walking into a cave for the first time? What thoughts they had as they took their first steps inside?
These rock formations are pretty cool.
Ugh, no! Hendrik, you have no imagination. Melissa, what do you think? Me? I squinted my eyes and stared into the abyss. Well... fascinating. That the stalagmites and stalactites were interesting to look at? You are no better than Hendrik.
I like the sample size so far.
Like a starless night.
Oh, you look like you have something to say. He hastily glanced at the floor, carefully considering his answer.
Well, if a Neanderthal entered a cave for the first time, they'd notice how muted their surroundings would become, save for footsteps and maybe the dripping of water. Without fire, it'd be like witnessing a starless sky. They'd see that the climate inside was stable, and their torch's light wouldn't reach some of the higher ceilings. They'd have to gauge the size with more than just their eyes. They'd be entering a completely different environment. Maybe that's why their paintings were drawn so deep into the caves. It was like a spiritual place for them.
The reflective moment was broken by Rosemarie's hearty laughter and a slap to Kyler's shoulder, causing him to flinch. You seriously thought of this before? See, this is what I meant. Imagination. I admit, Kyler, I always thought you were a total bore. What's the term you used once, Melissa? A square? Yes, a square. If I'd known you had a creative side, I would have made a bigger effort to talk to you. Come, let's chat about Neanderthals over some drinks. I'd love to hear more about it. Rosemarie linked arms with Kyler and stepped toward the exit. He flashed Hendrik a frantic save me look for the second time in 4 years. Hendrik noticed and raised a hand as if to halt Rosemarie. And failed Kyler again.
Have fun.
He wiggled his fingers goodbye. Kyler's mouth dropped, shocked at Hendrik's total lack of effort, while Rosemarie dragged him outside. Will he be okay?
He'll be fine. It'll be good for him. On second thought, I should keep an eye on them, knowing Rose.
Probably for the best. A geologist was a pun the entire time. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it.